Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
And I'm back out in the Matex Heating and Cooling Weather Garden. It again is still pretty sticky out here with temperatures that are in the 70s, 71 in Champaign, 76 in Mattoon, 78 though in Springfield, and 76 degrees in Watseka. Winds are still out of the south, pretty light too, at around 5 miles an hour. So overnight tonight, we expect clear to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be kind of dropping to where they are about right now, low 70s, and we expect another hot and humid day for tomorrow. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now, from WCIA 3 News.
A man died earlier this year after falling from a courthouse balcony. Why his wife is suing the sheriff and his deputies for it.
Plus, a mobile home was burned beyond recognition last night. How neighbors worked together to save one man trapped inside.
Truck drivers can log long hours, but they say current brake rules are costing them time. What they want to change.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
The Coles County Sheriff and several deputies were hit with a lawsuit this week filed by the widow of a man who was once in their custody. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. Kimberly Brigham says her husband's death could have been prevented. James Brigham died after falling off a balcony at the Coles County Courthouse in January. In this wrongful death lawsuit, his wife says deputies should have known he was suicidal. WCIA 3's Jennifer Jensen is in our control room. Jennifer, Kimberly says her husband needed help.
Jessica, Kimberly Brigham claims the sheriff and the deputies involved in her husband's case neglected to properly address James Brigham's mental health issues. The sequence of events started in October when she says Brigham wrote a suicide note. 2 months later, he drank half a gallon of antifreeze and was taken to the hospital. When he was released, he was taken into custody at the Coles County Sheriff's Department for a felony disorderly conduct case. He was accused of making a bomb threat to Mattoon's Walmart. In January, Brigham had a divorce hearing. He was in police custody, but after the hearing, Brigham fell from the second-story balcony. His wife says he jumped, and the suit claims the deputies didn't observe Brigham carefully enough. She's accusing the sheriff and deputies of not providing mental health treatment to Brigham. The lawsuit asks for at least $50,000. I contacted Kimberly Brigham's lawyers for a direct comment from her regarding the lawsuit, but they declined because they didn't want to put the case in jeopardy. I also contacted Sheriff Jim Rankin directly, and I'm waiting for a response. In the control room, I'm Jennifer Jensen, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jennifer, thank you. To see the names of all of the people listed in that lawsuit and a copy of the full complaint, you can go to WCIA.com. We also posted a statement from another family member.
Now to another lawsuit. This time, a former University of Illinois professor is being sued. It claims Gary Hsu abused and exploited students as the head of the East Asian Languages and Culture Department. The university was investigating him in 2016. He was paid until August 2018 when he resigned. This lawsuit is asking for damages. The students listed in the suit say he beat them, forced them into sex, and used his power as head of the department to keep them quiet. Other students say they feel the university should make it easier to come forward.
As a student myself, I know it's hard when you're dealing with someone in a position of authority, a professor, someone has control over your grades. You know, it's hard to speak up for yourself.
A professor at Wesleyan University in Connecticut also claims Hsu raped his friend, and when the professor tried to expose him, Hsu cyberbullied and harassed him. Today marks the 18th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Members of the 4 ROTC branches at the U of I honored it by climbing. They ran 1,980 stairs at Memorial Stadium this morning. That's the same number first responders did 18 years ago today. In previous years, on the anniversary, ROTC would do a memorial run through campus. One of the organizers says he had the idea to do more.
Because a lot of people on this campus were infants or toddlers, maybe not even born when 9/11 occurred. So this was a good way to do something different and to really commemorate what the first responders did going up those towers that day.
More than 300 people participated, including a few members from local fire departments in their gear. Next year, they say they want to open the event to the public and get the whole community involved.
A man was airlifted to a Springfield hospital after a fire in Vermilion County. It happened on Green Acre Street in Danville last night. Neighbors say they had just seen the man who lived there, and moments later they saw flames. They realized he was trapped inside the mobile home. Neighbors pried open the back door and his daughter pulled him out.
I was like, hosing it down because it was trying to get, bigger and bigger. So I just thought, I'm doing the best I can. And then about like maybe 5-10 minutes later, the fire people came.
The state fire marshal is still investigating the cause. A crash between a semi and a handicapped accessible van sent 2 people to the hospital today. This happened at the intersection of Route 24 and 1500 East in Ford County. Police say the driver of the van pulled out in front of the semi. The van's driver and passenger went to the hospital. Another car was sideswiped and a 4th was damaged by debris. The van's driver was ticketed for not yielding. Truck drivers spend a lot of time on the road, and some of them say their current rules are causing problems.
Now the U.S. Department of Transportation is looking at changing the number of hours drivers are behind the wheel. That includes adjusting the time they get for breaks. WCIA 3's Gabrielle Franklin has the story.
More than 300,000 people in Illinois have trucking jobs.
The reason National Truck Driver Appreciation Week is so important is because truck drivers move over 70% of the nation's freight. And to put that in perspective, just imagine sitting down to your favorite pizza and 70% of it's gone. That's what we have if we don't have truck drivers driving in America.
Drivers like Dan Reese say the job can be challenging.
The hardest part of the job is dealing with traffic and the motoring public.
Driving long distances, having to reach a destination within a 14-hour window can also pose an issue for drivers.
Right now, the law says you have to take a break after you've been on duty for 8 hours, and that may or may not be driving. So if someone came on duty, but they were doing some work around the truck or loading or unloading, but then suddenly they get in the truck and now have to stop and take a break when really they feel they need to take a break a little bit later, they don't have that flexibility.
That break has to last 30 minutes. And some drivers say trying to get everything they need done in that short window of time is nearly impossible.
Downtimes in between stops, stop and checking the load, stuff like that, and being able to get other stuff done. It gets difficult sometimes.
A new federal proposal would change the 30-minute break to a break after 8 straight hours of driving, allowing them to get the rest they need before getting back on the road.
It would be a big relief. That'd be very helpful.
In Springfield, Gabrielle Franklin, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Another change would allow drivers to pause their 14-hour driving window to take an off-duty break of up to 3 hours. Experts say this is all about making sure drivers are not overwhelmed. Deputies are warning people about a scam that could cost you a lot more than money. The Macon County Sheriff's Office says a scammer is telling people they failed to show up for jury duty. They're asking the caller to pay and present the money in person. At least one was asked to meet in a parking lot. The Sheriff's Office says this type of scam can be especially dangerous if the person is hurt or robbed.
An idea for a new homeless shelter in Springfield is catching some backlash. A billboard 1 block from the proposed shelter location reads, quote, "Shame on you, Helping Hands, a 24-hour homeless shelter near kids, homes, and the elderly." In a statement, Helping Hands called the billboard a false narrative, saying it puts homeless people in danger. City Council members in Springfield are expected to vote on that shelter next week.
One organization makes sure veterans are remembered every holiday season. They say they need help.
Plus, not all fertilizer is the same. Why some farmers need to be trained to handle this kind.
And there are some people who stay in your life for years. How a former coach ended up alongside a former player he now calls coach.